Okay, let's try this again. Hi loves, and welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we're going to be doing an updated brachioplasty video. So we are currently 3 weeks out from brachioplasty, 3.5 weeks. But let's go ahead and go back to the day of surgery, shall we? So the day of surgery, I was the first patient of the day. I got into the surgery center at around 8 a.m. and I was pretty much home by around noon. So a lot shorter than my extended tummy tuck. Pain wise, I would say that they didn't give me the Norco when I was at the surgery center, so I went ahead and took that while I got home. So as always, as you guys remember from my last video, my doctor does record everything, so I got to see everything that happened on the surgery table, and it was extremely interesting to say the least. The left arm got about 180 grams removed, and the right arm got about 120. So definitely the left got more taken out, but my right is actually the one that kind of hurt a little bit more and just was more sensitive, and probably because I am right-handed, I use it a lot more, and it probably has just been taking more of the beating. So when I left the surgery center, actually what I wore, the nurse had a comment and she was like, I haven't had anyone wear this, but this is actually so smart. So I actually got two very similar pieces like that, which are going to be these two right here. I actually ended up wearing the black one to the surgery center, and essentially these are both poncho like shirts and sweaters. And so instead of them having to put my arms into a sweater or a shirt that was like a zip up or something, it was just so much easier to literally just lay that over my head and we were ready to go. So that was the first week, pretty much all that I wore. So I was wrapped from wrist to about my armpit, as you can see in some of these clips from my TikTok. That was pretty much how I had to stay wrapped. Every morning though, I went ahead and unwrapped, massaged with arnica gel or arnica cream, whichever one I had on hand, just to make sure that no bumps or lines stayed there too long. So week 1 was most definitely 100% all about pain management. So I was on my Norcos every 4 hours, on my antibiotics every 6 hours, and on my stool softener every 4 hours as well. Personally, I didn't and haven't taken any nausea medication up until this point. The only ones that I did take was the night before surgery, and at the surgery center, the ones that they gave me. But at home, luckily, I have not had any nauseousness due to Norcos or due to the anesthesia that I was put under. So those were great, but pretty much I was just on that every 4-hour routine, just taking Norcos and pretty much just resting. That was pretty much the first week, and of course getting adjusted to my wraps. So second week I would say was probably the most interesting and the most humbling, right? Because first week I was pretty much just on protein shakes and broth, and I needed lots and lots of help, like to the bathroom and shower and stuff like that. So week 2, I felt like I was in a place where my morale was back. I felt okay. The pain was managed. Therefore, I felt like I wanted to do more things and go a little bit farther than I probably should have. So I started to try to feed myself and wanted to go out and pretty much not be cooped up, because at that point I was stir crazy. But humbly, as I tried to go out and do a couple things, the mobility was absolutely not there. Definitely, I was super fatigued after, so I definitely had to remember to take a step back at week 2, even though our spirits are back and we feel like we're up for doing things around the house and all of that. Literally, it's only been a week. since our arms were cut. So I've got to reel it back in. So for week 3 is actually when I personally got cleared to go back to work. So I had my 2-week post-op with him, and then I went on to go back to work. Now personally, if you guys don't know, I own a salon and I am by trade a lash artist. So a lot of my work is sedentary, and I do bend my arms for work, but it's really very low impact, I guess you can say. So I did go back to work, and although it is still taking me time to find my groove and all of those things, it hasn't been too bad. I definitely will just say that the fatigue is extremely real. So once I get home from work, it's pretty much do 1 or 2 things, eat a couple of bites of something, and just focus on rest. So now that I'm off of my Norcos and off of my antibiotics, I'm truly just focusing on things like CBD, stuff to help me sleep, because I found that last time and this time it's super hard to get comfortable and get to a place where I feel comfortable enough to sleep. In terms of like what I've been doing for compression now, since you guys can see I don't have the wraps on anymore, after the 2-week mark, he did clear me to go into what's considered a compression garment, which is this. I've gone through about 2 different ones, and this is actually my current fave, and I'm actually gonna order some more of these. I will have that all linked down below in a little actually in a list, an ideas list. But definitely this is still stretchy enough to get in, but compressive enough to give me the compression that I need. The problem with the other 2 that I bought, which are more of the traditional faja material, was that it was way too tight, and I don't have the mobility in my right arm to go that far back to try to like pop into it. So those did not work out at all, even with sizing up. So luckily I found this one last week. It seems to be like a new item on Amazon, so I was thoroughly impressed. I love this one, and of course, like I said, I will link that all down below. Lastly, for week 3.5 to 4, I would say the new thing that I'm experiencing is numbness, which is completely normal. It was in my protocol or my post-op care that the numbness does set in. But it's weird because I can't really gauge when I'm stretching too far or I'm doing something that's past my current limits. So one of the biggest things that my doctor stressed to me as well was to limit my overhead movements. Now I was getting into some compressive workout shirts that I used prior to surgery, and I was trying to get into those, and it was a little bit hard, and it was definitely stretching me past my limits. But now when I try to do stuff like that, I can't necessarily feel the same sharp pain, but again, that is the numbness setting in. So that is pretty much just my last update for week 4, or going into week 4. But other than that, like I said, I'll include some of the before and afters and some of the videos that I have so far. But I am through the moon, and that little saying that they say, like, plastic surgery in the winter, so you're healed by summer. Chef's kiss. I really didn't plan it that way. That's just when I had time to take off. But I'm so excited to get into certain shirts that prior to surgery were just not in my comfort zone. So leave your questions down below. Again, I will be updating more, and if you have any questions, I can do dedicated videos on that. If you want to keep up a little bit more day by day, go ahead and follow me over on my TikTok, as you can see some more updates. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in my next video.